Hello and welcome to Bedtime Story with Miss Anna. Are you ready to go to sleep? Kiss your mommy, kiss your daddy. It's time for story time. Tonight, we have an amazing story from Little People, Big Dreams, Malala Yousafzai. In the beautiful Swat Valley in Pakistan lived a Muslim girl called Malala. Her home was humble, and so was the school for girls her father ran. Malala couldn't wait to grow up, attend class, and discover all her talents. Even though education is every human's right, her mother never had the chance to learn how to read and write. Still, Malala hoped her life would be different. She wanted to prove to everyone that girls can have big dreams too. But Malala's dream became a nightmare when a violent group called the Taliban took control of her valley. They banned most of the things she liked, from listening to music to taking photographs and even flying kites. The Taliban believed that instead of going to school, girls should get married, cover their bodies from head to toe, and never leave the house without their husband or brothers. It was like being in prison for doing nothing wrong. In just a heartbeat, the Taliban destroyed hundreds of all girls' schools and made parents scared to send their daughters to class. Malala and the rest of the students wondered what they could do to stop the madness. Maybe the Taliban had bombs and guns, but Malala and her friends had books and pens to fight back. Win. They decided to raise their voices and speak up about how important it was for their future to attend school. They shared their story on local television, and soon Malala was asked to write a diary about her life under Taliban rule for the BBC. She used the name of a heroine from one of her favorite Pashto tales, Gul Makai. But for the Taliban, there was nothing scarier than a girl willing to speak up. One day, Malala and two of her friends were shot on their way back home from school. Malala was very badly injured. The whole world cried for her. When Malala woke up, she couldn't recognize her room. She has been taken to a hospital in England, far away from home. But children all over the world have written get well wishes. There was a pile of letters waiting to be read. Malala did not just get better, but stronger and louder. She knew her story was the story of millions of other girls, too. With her father's help, she created a foundation to improve their lives and their education. 2 years later, she became the youngest person ever to receive the Nobel Peace of Prize. Malala brought with her some brave friends from Pakistan, Nigeria, and Syria who deserved the same recognition. From the White House to refugee camps, Malala traveled the world speaking up about every child's right to go to school. But as soon as she was settled in her new home in England, it was time for her to attend classes. The day she received her degree from the University of Oxford was one of her happiest. Still, the next morning, she woke up ready to fight for all the little Malalas in the world and their rights to dream as big as they want, and she will keep doing so. This is Malala Yousafzai, born in 1997. I have one more book for you. Our next story is from Little People, Big Dreams, Ella Fitzgerald. Little Ella grew up in Yonkers, New York, with her mother, stepfather, and sister. She had a beautiful voice and loved to sing jazz. But one day, tragedy struck. Her mother died suddenly in a car accident. Ella was heartbroken. Ella went to live with her aunt, but she didn't like her new life. She started skipping school and got into trouble, so she was sent to a strict school as punishment. She was treated very badly there. So one day, she ran away. Ella made a living by singing and dancing on the street corners of Harlem. The street was her first stage. But one night, she entered a competition to perform on a real stage at one of the most famous theaters in New York. She was very nervous but dazzled the crowd with her sweet, toneful voice. She won first prize. That night, Ella was so excited she couldn't sleep. She imagined herself singing on an even bigger stage, accompanied by her very own orchestra. It wasn't long before big band leader Chick Webb offered Ella her first singing job. Together, they traveled all over the country performing in jazz clubs. Ella's career was taking off. Ella never sang a song the same way twice. She turned some somersaults with her voice and learned to imitate every instrument in the band. She used her songs to express how she felt and made up new sounds on the spot. Sometimes she invented new words like doobie doobie doo 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 da ba ba. She also sang a slow song as sweet as lullabies. Her velvety voice wrapped around the audience like a blanket. Eventually, Ella decided it was time to leave the band and go solo. All the jazz greats wanted to perform with her. The telephone didn't stop ringing. Ella tried every musical style, from bop to swing. Her voice growled, swoop, and soared. She mastered show tunes, pop, opera, and blues, taking her music to new places until the day she retired. And that's how little Ella became the first lady of song. As she always say, it isn't where you came from, it's where you are going. That counts. This is Ella Fitzgerald, born in 1917 and died in 1996. I have one more book for you tonight. Our next book is from Little People, Big Dreams, Rosa Parks. Rosa grew up near Montgomery, Alabama, with her mother, brother, and grandparents. She was very little and very brave, and she always tried to do what was right. When she was young, Rosa's grandparents told her stories about slavery, when black people weren't free to live like other people. Slavery was over, but times were still hard for Rosa and her family. Black people were treated very badly and told they were not equal to white people. Every day, Rosa watched the school bus go by taking white children to their big school. It didn't stop for her. She had to walk a long way to one room school that was just black children. Rosa knew this wasn't right. She knew she was a regular person just as good as anyone else. Lots of times she had to make sure other people knew it too. When Rosa grew up and got a job in the city, she couldn't use the same doors, elevators, bathrooms, or water fountains as white people. She could ride the bus, but she had to sit in the back. Her life was full of rules that she knew weren't right. Rosa fell in love with a man named Raymond who was trying to change the rules to be more fair and equal. Soon, Rosa started working too, trying to get more rights for black people and help for those who were treated badly. She worked day after day, even when it seems like nothing will ever change. On her way home from the city one day, a bus driver told Rosa to stand up so a white person could take her seat. She was sick of rules that she knew weren't wrong. She thought enough and she said no. Rosa was taken to jail. She wasn't scared because she knew that what she was fighting for was right. When Rosa came home that night, she talked with her friends and family about what to do. She decided to keep fighting no matter how hard it would be. Black people all over the city heard what happened to Rosa and they thought enough. Rosa inspired them to stop riding the buses until the rules changed. So they walked to school and to work and to the store in all kinds of weather. Rosa traveled the country from New York to San Francisco to convince other people to join the fight. Finally, after 1 year, the Supreme Court decided that treating black people differently from white people on buses was wrong. The rules were going to change. It was no longer safe for Rosa to live in Alabama. She moved to Detroit and fought for fair school jobs and houses for black people. She fought for voting rights, for women's rights, and the rights of people in prison. When Rosa was an older woman, she was given awards and told she was a hero. But she knew who she was, a regular person just as good as anyone else, and she had to work to do that. This is Rosa Parks, born in 1913, died in 2005. I hope that you enjoyed the bedtime story for tonight. Don't forget, please subscribe to my channel. Good night, good night, good night.